Hey folks, thanks for joining the webinar. We'll get started in just a minute where folks are filing in, and so bear with us and we will be getting started with the webinar in just a moment or two. Thanks. Hi again, folks. People are joining still. We'll give everybody just another minute to join in, and then we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you. Okay, well, looks like we've got critical mass. A few folks are still filing in, but we'll let them find their virtual seats, as it were. Thank you, everybody, for joining today to our announcement webinar supporting the launch of our home health library together with Wild Iris Medical Education Partnership, our partnership with Wild Iris Medical Education. So I just want to sort of talk a little bit about what we're going to cover today and introduce to you who our speakers are. So I'm Aaron Dunn. I'm the SVP of Marketing here at CareAcademy. Many of you are familiar with us. Many of you are our current customers, and we thank you for your ongoing support. I'm joined on this webinar over the course of the next half hour or so by Michelle, who is our Content and Production Director here. Who handles all of our content strategy and the courses that you are accessing today if you're a customer, or could if you're not. Also, Kelly, who is our account relationship manager, and many of you who are customers know Kelly, and so she will be talking a bit about how to access the library if you're a current customer, or how to get engaged with CareAcademy if you're not. And also, and the star of the show here is Anya from Wild Iris Medical Education. She's the director of marketing there, and she will be talking a bit more about Wild Iris and about the classes that we've licensed in our partnership, the ANCC accreditation, etc. So we'll go through the agenda real quick. We're starting off with just a real quick introduction of who CareAcademy and who Wild Iris is, followed by, as I mentioned, a little bit more explanation of what is involved in the partnership and the classes. And then following on, we'll hear a little bit more about what we're doing here at CareAcademy. And then we will also show you how to access the classes and how this will look for those of you who are current customers. But before we get started, we know that the first question that always comes up is, are we going to record this? And the answer is, yes, we are. So we will be recording and are currently recording. And so we will be able to make that available to you if you're interested. We will also send out the slide deck and the link after the event, so you don't even have to ask us for it. So it's going to come right to your inbox with whatever email you use to sign up. We will potentially have opportunity to take questions. So if you do have a question, feel free to access the Q&A tab at the bottom of your webinar panel. You can just click in there, post up your question. Some questions we may be able to answer sort of throughout the flow, and if there's time remaining at the end, we will try to get to those as well. So for those of you who aren't familiar with CareAcademy, we are a platform that home care and home health agencies use for both managing the training and also the compliance of their caregivers. And our mission is really to provide the best platform for discovery, onboarding, equipping, managing, and retaining your healthcare and home care professionals, as to effectively help those who need them. We know for sure that in this time, obviously in the time of the pandemic, what's happening in our homes and with our loved ones is of critical importance, and we know this is your primary mission, and we're happy to support you in that endeavor. CareAcademy has been around for a number of years now, and we are, a couple of things just of note, we are designed for a mobile platform so that your caregivers, people taking training, can access directly from their phone. No app is required. You are able to bring over training records from prior experiences and make sure you have all of your training completions in one place for managing compliance. We're proud to have over 230 hours of total training across all of our different libraries. There is an online dashboard specifically for administrators to use to manage who is getting training, how they're receiving that training, if they've completed their training, and also the compliance. And we have award-winning customer support available for you. So that's the CareAcademy commercial. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Anya to talk a little bit more about Wild Iris. Anya?
Yeah, hi, thank you so much, Aaron. Really excited to be part of the summit webinar, and introduce Wild Iris to your customer base or potentially future customer base. So Wild Iris Medical Education is a company which has been around since 1998. So we were founded a long time ago, over 20 years ago, and initially started with nursing continuing education, and then over the years added continuing education courses for other professions as well, including occupational physical therapists, EMTs, paramedics, and then a lot of our state mandated courses we offer they're also applicable to many different other professions, which varies a bit by course and by state. So that's the quick overview of what we've been doing. So I've been with Wild Iris Medical Education for about 13 years, maybe even 14. I'm losing track of time. My role here is I lead the marketing team. I have a couple other hats here as well. And again, I'm really happy to announce our partnership with CareAcademy. I'm also the corporate liaison for any corporate account relationships we hold. And then most likely, as any of you can relate, in my free time, waiting for the world to get to a normal place again, to venture out and enjoy, as I'm sure we can all relate. So if we want to skip to the next slide. So then who is Wild Iris? We were founded by Ann Johnson back in 1998, who's our CEO. And prior to forming the company, Ann worked as a registered nurse for a very long time, including her last job prior to founding the company was the emergency room department manager. So we do come, from a medical background where we do understand the actual day-to-day demands on the nurses. We understand that they have to juggle, a very demanding work life with their family life, and obviously in current pandemic times, even have a greater stress load with balancing all of that. So Ann has been leading our company for the duration since 1998. We kind of pride ourselves also of having very little staff turnover. So typically the relationships, any of you will form with us, we typically are around and don't have too many switches in employment. Additionally, Anne also served for 25 years in a local fire department and provided service to the community that way as well. So then one question we get a lot is like, why are we even called wild iris? It's not a very medical related term. So originally back in 1998, the idea was to provide this online resource for nurses to come to our page and provide sort of like this quick little serene space where you can, easily stress-free comply with the requirements of getting your continuing education hours. And we are located in Comtree, California. It's a small town on the Mendocino coast, which for those of you who are not familiar with California, we're about 3 hours north of San Francisco. And so there's the wild iris flowers, which bloom every year in our area. So that's kind of the inspiration where our name came from, even though it does not have a medical relation. We just kind of liked, providing this more serene image at the time. Back in 1998, also, Anne was one of the firsts to really venture out and provide continuing education in an online format. So back then that was not that common, and most nurses still had to go somewhere in person to satisfy their continuing education requirements, and therefore also adding obviously a lot more, travel time away from home to fulfill these requirements. So we hope to, have found this or have created this page to make this a lot easier for nurses in general, and particularly CareAcademy agency customers. So in terms of what sets Wild Iris apart, how can we serve you? We are an ANCC accredited provider. So the ANCC is the American Nurse Credentialing Center. It's one of the highest accreditations a CEU provider can have. That is also an accreditation which is accepted by all nursing boards nationwide. So that's a very important distinction, a very important accreditation, meaning no matter what state you're licensed in, whether you're licensed in one state, whether you're multi-state licensed, you can take, or your nurses can take, any of our continuing education courses, and they will be accepted in any state for your continuing education needs. For some of our courses, we have additional board or state approvals where required. So once you get or take a view at the course offerings in your CareAcademy dashboard, you'll see there will be certain state mandated courses. So some of those courses do require an additional approval from various state agencies, whether that is a Department of Health or Department of State. So we do have those additional ones as well. So again, any nurse in any state can take any of our courses for continuing education credits. Our current course offering is over 80 different courses. They range anywhere between 1 and 10 contact hours. So we do understand sometimes, it's a personal choice. Would you like to rather take more courses with a lower contact hours? Would you rather take courses with higher content hours? So it's a personal choice oftentimes, unless obviously it is mandated by your state what you're required to take, or if your employer has any requirements of which course topics they want you to take. So all of these courses we currently offer amount to more than 300 contact hours. So there is a wide variety, different topics, different contact hours to fulfill all your requirements. Typically, the contact hours required to renew a license is typically every 2 years, anywhere between 25 and 30 contact hours. Additionally, all of our courses are on a strict revision cycle, meaning we put up a course and every 2 to 3 years, that course will be reviewed, whether it will be updated or potentially archived. So in order to provide the nurses with evidence-based content, also high quality content and relevant updated content continuously. Additionally, we do add new courses as well on a regular basis. So you'll see that, our course offerings gets updated regularly. And then lastly, we are also a certified women-owned business, which we've held this certified status for about 5 or 6 years now. Prior to that, we were just women-owned without the certification, but we added that for the past 2 years as well. All right, and I think at this point, I will hand over the presentation to Michelle from CareAcademy to take it from there.
Wonderful, thank you so much, Anya.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. On behalf of CareAcademy, I have to say that we are so excited to speak more about our partnership with Wild Iris Medical Education. Really through this partnership and the licensed content we're bringing to the CareAcademy platform, we have expanded the CareAcademy offering to include, as Erin mentioned at the top of the webinar, our home health training library. So what this means is CareAcademy not only provides the high quality online education for your direct care workers that our current customers have been using and enjoying, but also continuing education for the nursing staff who are providing skilled and clinical care in home health settings. So really, we are excited that this is enabling us in CareAcademy to become a one-stop shop for continuing education. Not only can our customers and our agencies assign the training through the platform, but it's now you can track, manage all of those training records and all of those reports within your CareAcademy dashboard. A little bit more about the content that we are rolling out as part of this partnership. So as Anya mentioned, the nursing continuing education is through Wild Iris, which is an ANCC accredited provider. And as Anya mentioned, that accreditation is accepted by nursing boards in all 50 states, which means it can be used to satisfy the continuing education requirements that nurses need to renew their licenses, state by state. And the courses are really relevant to the home health needs of certain clients and patients. For example, there's wound care courses, courses on diabetes, pressure injury prevention and treatment, which I know are topics that our home health customers have asked about. And then in addition, also as Anya mentioned, the content in our home health library includes a lot of state mandated courses. So these are the courses that are required state by state that staff need to complete, on a regular basis or a one-time basis, depending on those state training and compliance requirements. We can move on to the next slide and I'll talk a little bit more about what does the library contain. So right now, the Home Health Library has, as you've heard, a continuing education for nurses. There are over 75 individual courses that in total add up to over 300 hours of continuing education content. And as Anya mentioned, Wild Iris is providing regular updates and developing new courses regularly. So through our partnership, as Wild Iris courses, new Wild Iris courses are available, we'll be able to make those available to you on our platform so that you have that new offering via CareAcademy as well. So we're starting here, but there's definitely more to come as our partnership grows. I'll talk a little bit more about what the courses themselves look like and contain. So of course, as you would expect with CareAcademy, this is high quality content. For this particular audience of nurses, the content is evidence-based articles. And we'll show you an example in just a minute. The evidence-based piece is super important because it's going to allow us to provide current and up-to-date information that nurses can apply to their day-to-day practice. The content is in this article format, very easy to follow along with and comprehend. And many of the courses provide case study examples that really apply the knowledge in a real world context. So here you can see an example of one of the articles. Here it's 1.5 contact hours. But as Anya mentioned, the individual courses range in length, everything from 1 hour all the way up to 10 hours, where it really delves deep into the given topic area. So after viewing the training content, which you'll see here, and which the nurses will do via their CareAcademy dashboard, the nurses will take a final exam, again, online through the CareAcademy platform, just to make sure that they've really understood and comprehended the new information they've learned. They need to pass that final test with a 70% score. And then, as you expect with any other CareAcademy classes you've seen, the nurses receives a certificate of completion in their dashboard that tracks their training progress. And then that record is also recorded in the agency's admin dashboard. So all online, automated, one-stop shop. We wanted to make sure we covered a couple other key questions that we've heard come up as we talk about our home health library and the nursing continuing education. So the first question we hear a lot is, are these nursing CEUs only for my nurses, or who can use them? And the answer is there are multiple license types. So these courses are relevant to a long list of license types in the nursing profession. So your LPNs and LVNs will also be able to use these courses for continuing education, as will your nurse practitioners, clinical nurse specialists, and a couple other license types. So we say nursing CEUs, but it's really many more license types than that. And for our second question, I'm going to hand that over to my colleague, Kelly.
Hello. So you're wondering, how can I get these classes added to my dashboard? If we go to the next slide. If you're a current CareAcademy customer, you can reach out to me at ksaintis@careacademy.com. And if you are not a CareAcademy customer, you can schedule a demo at sales at, you can schedule a demo by clicking any one of the links that will pop up on the website, or you can reach out to sales@careacademy.com. However, right now I'm going to actually give you a quick overview of the platform, just so you can take a look at what the interface is like for both the administrator and the actual student. So I'm going to do a bit of a screen share. Right now we are actually logged in to the CareAcademy dashboard. This is the administrator's perspective. So I'm actually going to log into my agency. And I'm going to go down to my student who I'm going to assign a new class. However, I'm going to just do a quick overview of the platform. At the top, you'll see a way to sort through your caregivers with caregiver groups. This gives you the ability to designate your nursing team from your HHA team, from your caregiver team, from your non-medical team. This allows you to separate the groups, especially if you have 25 or more users. This is very helpful in being able to assign curriculum based on the need of the group. The next tab, we have curriculum. All dashboards are set up based on state requirements. The state for this particular dashboard is Illinois, so that is what I am set up for at this time. And you'll just take a quick peek at what the initial training looks like for Illinois. And then our next tab is deactivated caregivers. This is where caregivers who aren't active in your current dashboard will live. Let's say they're on leave, or they left, and then what I like to call boomerang, someone who will definitely come back. This is where all of their data is housed. You can reactivate them, print out their reports, or delete them at any time. And the final tab along the top is your message log. This is where all your automated messages will live, or any messages that you also send out to your caregivers will reside. If we go back to the main dashboard, we're actually going to take a look at Marty, who is our student in question. I need to add a class to his curriculum. For the current moment, right now, this is a demo account, so I'm just showing you the way I do it in demo. When you're on your actual tour with me or your account executive, they will actually show you how to search. So right now, we're just looking for the classes that he's not been assigned. And he's already been assigned the class, so it won't show up. He's been assigned wound care, and we'll see that in his actual account. So now that he's been enrolled in the class, we can actually go right into his experience. Let me just, one second, technical difficulties. So going right into the caregiver's experience, we're using an iPhone, and Martin is going to log into his account. And he's going to go to go.careacademy.com, which is already in our history. It'll bring him right to his dashboard. He can use his email or a cell phone in order to log in. Sorry, one more time. Once he logs into his class, you'll see he has different dashboards. This is a multi-agency dashboard. So let's say that Martin actually worked for different agencies in different states or different agencies in the same town. He would see all of his different dashboards in one area. So when we log right into his classes, we can actually see what he's been assigned. If it was his first time going into the dashboard, he would play his first time using CareAcademy onboarding video. And then we're going to go right into his classes. You'll see that he's actually started some of his courses, so that you'll see part of the percentage of the way through that he's gone. He's also taking a look at the classes that he has existing. But for the purpose of this demo, we're actually going to go right into our wound care course, and we're going to hit start. The session will actually prompt him on what he needs to do following his instructions. So he'll hit the next arrow, and then he'll be right in his course. So once he starts, he'll get right to the course as described previously. And I know that you guys have tons of questions on how to use the dashboard and additional questions on user experience. Please definitely feel free to email me at ksaintis@careacademy.com or the sales team at sales@careacademy.com. This was a quick high-level view of the platform. It's more in depth than this, but it is relatively intuitive and easy to use, and we would love to show you more. I'm going to stop my share now and move back to the presentation.
All right. Wow. Round of applause for Kelly, because, you know, live demos with a mobile phone emulator, you never know. Sometimes the password is the thing that trips you up. So well done. And thanks for that, those insights from Michelle, Kelly, and Anya. We do have actually a few questions that are coming in. So I would like to give a chance to answer some of these. And so again, as a reminder, feel free to use the Q&A function within the panel for the Zoom webinar. Some people are using the chat, which is also fine, although it's a little bit easier for us to manage when they're in the Q&A. We can record and save them for later. There is one question, which probably a few have, and one person asked, but the question is there an increased cost for existing customers? And I'll go ahead and take that one, and then Kelly, you can add some color if you'd like. But the short answer is it depends on the package that you currently have with CareAcademy. And so a great place to start if you're currently a customer is to connect directly with Kelly, post this webinar, and Kelly can look at what your package is currently, and then make sure that we design the right solution for you and get those classes enabled. So it really does depend on which package you have previously purchased. So Kelly can get that sorted out and get that rolling. Another question that came up is probably a lot of people are asking is, will the courses link to the CE broker account? So Anya, perhaps you could take that for us.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. Thanks, Aaron. So currently, as I understand the CareAcademy platform, you have to self-report still to CE broker. I would imagine we can look into if there is in the future possibly the ability to have you take the courses on CareAcademy's platform or dashboard and then link to CE broker account. But at this point, you would have to self-report, which is acceptable by CE broker in all states. CE broker requires you to track those hours.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you, Anya. Another question that came in was if they could offer these CEUs to the nursing staff at one of my referral sources, so a hospital or a skilled nursing facility, et cetera. I think if I understand the question correctly, these are people that are, it's like an extension of your business. And so we today, and Kelly, you can feel free to jump in here. But today, these would be people who are within your network of caregivers, and that's how the CareAcademy process would work. Did I have that right, Kelly?
Correct.
Yeah.
Anybody who's working for them, nurses who are teaching within their office, or any of the credentials that qualify, anybody who's working for them, it'd be something that you'd want to offer up.
Got it. Excellent. Another question that I know a lot of people have is as it relates to CNAs. So maybe I'll push this one to Michelle. Do you want to talk a little bit about will this training apply for CNAs or other CareAcademy training apply for CNAs?
Sure. Thanks, Aaron. I'm going to say it is really going to come down to the course, individual course, and also some of the state board requirements. So I don't want to speak out of turn and say anything too broadly, but I will take this back to our team and verify eligibility and applicability for CNAs. I know that generally Wild Iris does have courses that satisfy many CNA requirements, but let me go back to our team and make sure we know and can communicate out exactly what checks what boxes for CNAs. It would be great to know from the question asker, perhaps what state you're in and a little bit more about your organization.
Yeah, and if I've learned one thing in my time at CareAcademy is there's probably 50 different answers. And so the short answer is probably, but it also does matter greatly what state you're in and whatnot. So so for the person specifically who asked the question, feel free to connect you with a little bit more detail here for you, and we can respond to you directly. And also more broadly, if people do have other questions specifically to CNAs in their state, great question for for your account manager. We have a whole compliance team, which some of you know, but we have a whole compliance team that their entire job is making sure that we have a very strong understanding of the compliance rules on a state by state basis. And they're very good, and they're also very good at researching when we don't know the answer off the top of our heads. So kudos to them. Let's see, other questions. Can a nurse sign up for the classes directly, or do they need to be assigned through the CareAcademy portal? This question to you, Michelle.
Yeah, so right now, the nurse or the nursing staff would have to be enrolled in courses that they'd like to take. They can be enrolled in many and then pick which ones they want to complete. That's where we are right now, subject to evolve as we continue to deepen this partnership. But that's how it would work today, similar to what Kelly demonstrated in that very brief demo.
Yeah, so if someone wants to go direct, then they would, there's obviously the opportunity to work directly with Wild Iris, but that would be on a self-pay basis, of course. So, okay, let's see. Other questions, feel free to keep them coming. There are quite a few, which is great. Probably not going to get to all of them, but let's see. Question, just to repeat the answer, someone did ask, again, if there's an additional cost for CareAcademy customers, and the answer is still, it does depend on which package you're on. So just reach out to Kelly directly and we can get you situated. Let's see. Now there's so many questions, it's hard to scroll through and figure out which ones I've answered already. So someone asked if we have a time frame for CNA training. I think, give us, as I said, it sort of varies state by state. So we're excited to get this out, get it into the market, and then we'll look over the next, I would say, month or so to understand kind of where there might be gaps and see how we might fill them.
And an additional plug, it's not specific to the home health library, but CareAcademy does have the content that we have today for our direct care workers is broadly applicable and satisfies CNA training continuing education requirements in states that mandate them, and in other states that have more lax requirements. So back to the earlier point, it really depends on where you are and what your rules are, but we have a broad range of courses that in many states can be used for CNA continuing education.
Great. Someone asked when the CEUs will start to be available. They are available now, but we do need to turn it on. So it's not, they won't just automatically show up in your dashboard. So again, Kelly's inbox is probably now flooded with emails. So actually on the slides, let's just back up 2 slides so we can show, make people are gonna want to know what was Kelly's email address. It's pretty straightforward. It's just ksantos@careacademy.com, or you can, of course, email us at sales@careacademy.com as well. Both will get to the right place. As we start to wind down and the question flow slows here, Anya, is there any sort of closing thoughts that you might like to share from Wild Iris's perspective? Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Well, I think we've covered really the broad introduction pretty comprehensively and answered, some of the many questions people have asked. In closing, really, I would just thank CareAcademy for partnering with us and looking forward that, Wild Iris Medical Education is going to serve your nurses and potentially some other professions as well with evidence-based CEU nationwide. So we're very excited about that. And if there's any other questions coming up after, we're happy to touch base and get you answers as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Anya. And Michelle, I will give you the almost final word. Anything you'd like to share?
Appreciate that. I'm just want to echo a lot of what everyone else has said, which is that we are so excited for this partnership. and to be able to broaden the reach of the CareAcademy platform and content libraries to help our home care and home health agencies meet their staff training and management needs. So thank you for joining us, and please, all questions we're happy to get answers to.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, and good news, someone slid in a question right under the wire. So we'll since we do have a minute or two left, I will pose the question. I think it's gonna be a question to you, Michelle. Are all available nursing courses viewable to the nurse so they may request their employer to sign them up for a particular course?
That's a great question. So we have the list of the courses available on our website, viewable to anyone. Let's see, we have available to the administrators the course descriptions and learning objectives through the platform. I think we'll have to solve for that. It would be helpful to know what information would be helpful. Would the title be sufficient, or what, how much information would you like to share with your nurses so that they can pick and identify the best courses to meet their training and development interests?
Yeah. So for the benefit of folks who aren't familiar with CareAcademy, like the classes that as assigned are assigned. So there's not a direct way always to sort of look at all the total available classes necessarily. But we do have all the available classes listed on our website. You can just go to careacademy.com. And then of course, now I'm forgetting off the top of my head where it goes from there, but on our training page, you can access the full class list and go from there. So with that, I just like to take a moment to thank Michelle and Anya and Kelly for their time today. Thank all of you for joining this session. Again, we are available for additional questions by email, and we look forward to working with all of you in the very near future. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you very much.